Story in the Telegraph, 31st of January 2026. Chinese car makers cash in on Britain's EV credits. Experts claim mandate is subsidising Beijing as UK manufacturers failed to meet target. This is by Matt Oliver, Industry Editor, and James Titcombe, Technology Editor, 31st of January 2026. Chinese car makers are expected to cash in on Britain's net zero mandate after it emerged that major manufacturers will have to pay rivals to avoid fines. 8 car makers, including Jaguar Land Rover and Toyota, did not sell enough electric cars or low-emission vehicles last year to meet government mandates, according to an industry analysis. You can't claim that the UK have hit the ZEV mandate targets if they didn't, can you? And they didn't. 4 of them, Suzuki, Nissan, Mazda and Honda, are far enough behind the target that they will have to acquire credits from companies that have significantly exceeded the target. Well, if you only sell EVs and your target's 28% of EVs, then you're going to exceed it. Those in the best position to sell credits include manufacturers that sell large numbers of electric vehicles, such as Tesla, Chinese champion. Well, hang on. Is Tesla not American champion? Why Chinese champion? Why not just Chinese BYD and Polestar? Polestar is supposed to be Swedish, but they're Chinese. And MG, they're Chinese, owned by China's Geely and SAIC, respectively. Car industry experts have criticised the mandate as subsidising the Chinese industry, since many manufacturers importing from China are selling exclusively electric vehicles, EV, so have a surplus of credits to offload. The zero-emission vehicle ZEV mandate, brought in by the Conservatives and modified by Labour last year, requires a proportion of each manufacturer's cars each year to be electric. It rises every year from 22% in 2024 to 80% in 2030. We've got no chance. Manufacturers receive allowances, helping them make up the target for selling low-emission cars, such as hybrids. Others will be able to borrow against future years. Well, what's the point of borrowing against future years? Yeah? What's the point? If they don't hit it now, they're not going to hit it in future either. So it'll just be a bigger debt. All that's happening is your overdraft is piling up. And we all know what happens there. What they should do, they should give them a credit card and let them bankrupt themselves, which is what happens against future years, in the expectation that they will surpass the target towards the end of the decade. However, borrowing against future years is capped, meaning those far enough below the target will have to acquire credits to avoid fines of £12,000 per vehicle below the target. So they reduced it from 15,000 to 12,000. Honestly, if brains were dynamite, it couldn't blow the cap off. Last year, when the target was 28%, almost all car makers missed the quota purely on the basis of EV sales alone, according to a report from non-profit Transport and Environment Group. While several were able to make it up with low-emission credits, Hyundai, Stellantis, Toyota and Jaguar Land Rover would have to borrow against future EV sales. Suzuki, Nissan, Mazda and Honda will have to acquire credits even after maxing out borrowing against future years. So they can't, this year they've maxed it out and they've still got to buy credits. Between them, the 4 Japanese manufacturers are 4,273 vehicles behind their target. That's, don't forget, after they've used the low emission vehicles, the flexibilities, all the flexibilities about using low carbon steel in the manufacturer, bringing sales forward from the future, they are still behind. So could risk fines of around 50 million collectively if they fail to acquire credits. They've got to buy credits off the people who are making it virtually impossible by undercutting them and bringing vehicles in from China. Tim Dexter of Transport and Environment said manufacturers might acquire credits through production or licensing deals with other car makers. Nissan, for example, has pooled credits with Renault to avoid EU fines. In the past, last year, Nissan struck a similar deal with BYD. Matthias Smith, an independent automotive analyst, said Tesla, Volvo, Polestar and Chinese manufacturers such as BYD are likely to be the biggest beneficiaries of this, as the companies that have most exceeded the target. Nissan, which is manufacturing its new Leaf EV in the UK, has argued that the ZEV mandate is outdated and fails to take into account slowing EV demand. Suzuki has discontinued certain models in the UK in an attempt to get close to the targets. Suzuki didn't sell one EV in 2024. So don't be claiming that the target was met in 2024. Just Suzuki. The four manufacturers were contacted for comment. A Department for Transport spokesman said, "Our electric car grant has helped over 50,000 drivers go electric and save up to £3,750 off the price of a new EV. It's also destroyed other manufacturers' used vehicle residuals." Let's not forget that, which is what I said it would do, and it has. Helping families keep more of their cash. They don't have to buy a f***ing EV in the first place. They'd save even more cash then, wouldn't they? Moron. Whilst also helping industry to hit their sales target, we're supercharging the UK's charging network by backing councils to install 100,000 more public charge points. Small point, but when you charge at a public charge point, an EV costs you more to run than an ICE vehicle. It's only when you charge at home on a special tariff that you save money. More public charge points and cutting the cost of installing home chargers. Well, honestly, I have got a fantastic idea. Well, I've got two fantastic ideas. I'm loath to let people have them for nothing. Sorry, actually, I've got three fantastic ideas, and I've already let one company have my ideas for nothing. I'll report on it in the future. Industry is on track to meet their EV targets, and last year we introduced flexibilities so manufacturers can meet these in multiple ways, not just through sales. Well, it's car sales, it's EV sales. Does that not tell you how ridiculous this ZEV mandate target is and how stupid claims are that we actually hit the target? We didn't hit the target. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.